People see Bitcoin trading at $60,000 or $70,000 and assume the phase of significant gains has already passed. They are looking for opportunity in the rearview mirror. Zooming out reveals a structural crisis. Inflation remains persistent, and for the average American, the economy feels hollow. Real purchasing power is eroding as the cost of basic necessities outpaces wage growth. The math behind this erosion is clear. The national debt is crossing $35 trillion. The U.S. government now spends over $1 trillion every year just to pay the interest on what it has already borrowed. This leaves the Federal Reserve trapped. They must choose between cutting rates to prevent a slowdown or keeping them high to defend the dollar. This friction creates a vacuum. As traditional cash loses its reliability as a store of value, institutional capital is reallocating into efficient, high-utility networks that can operate outside the constraints of the old system. When the government issues more debt to pay for its existing obligations, it triggers debasement. Every new dollar added to the system makes the ones in your pocket less valuable. The Treasury must continuously issue new debt to maintain operations. Eventually, the Fed is forced to provide liquidity to keep these debt markets functioning. This newly injected liquidity flows into hard assets. Capital seeks out gold, looks to technology stocks, and decentralized networks to avoid the slow decay of the cash supply. Institutional capital is currently moving out of cash and into specific utility-based networks to position for the next major liquidity injection in 2026. The 2026 market has no patience for speculation. It is actively devaluing ghost chains with no users and concentrating capital into networks that have achieved clear product-market fit. Solana is the primary beneficiary of this shift. It is a high-speed financial rail designed to host the next generation of retail finance applications. A traditional bank wire takes 3 days to clear. Solana achieves finality in sub-seconds for a fraction of a penny. This is why institutional giants like Goldman Sachs are moving hundreds of millions onto the network, achieving near-instant settlement. Solana's technical speed makes it a viable replacement for the high-fee, high-friction systems of legacy banking. Wall Street is moving toward tokenization. This involves taking real-world assets, like real estate and treasury bonds, and putting them onto a blockchain for better transparency and movement. For this to work, these networks need accurate real-time data. Chainlink provides that infrastructure. It functions as the data backbone for the entire financial sector. Banks are using Chainlink's CCIP technology as a secure bridge. This protocol allows traditional institutions to transfer value between different blockchains while maintaining strict security standards. Without this data infrastructure, the transition of trillion-dollar asset classes onto the blockchain cannot proceed. Ethereum has evolved into a productive asset. It is no longer just a platform for experimentation. It is a yield-generating system. The current roadmap focuses on Layer 2 scaling and data blobs. These upgrades are specifically engineered to handle the transaction volume required by global finance. This makes Ethereum the foundational settlement layer for the digital economy. It is essentially the Internet of Value, where global transactions are finalized. Holding Ethereum is a direct stake in the primary infrastructure for a financial system that is moving toward total digitization. Using these networks allows individuals to bypass the overhead of traditional banks. Automated lending protocols pay yields based on actual market demand for capital, rather than the static, low rates set by a local bank branch. While retail users look for yield, the biggest players on Wall Street are focused on the underlying infrastructure. Major institutions are accumulating these tokens to use as collateral. They aren't looking for a quick trade. They are acquiring the tools needed to power their internal settlement systems. As major banks integrate these rails, they lock up a significant portion of the token supply for operational use. This creates a supply shock as available inventory on exchanges begins to disappear. Everyday citizens and Wall Street firms are moving toward the same digital networks, seeking an alternative to a system that is becoming increasingly inefficient. The 2026 market is defined by utility. The era of speculative curiosity is being replaced by the necessity of high-speed digital infrastructure. Solana offers speed, Chainlink provides the data, and Ethereum serves as the foundational settlement layer. But these markets remain volatile. Success requires a disciplined strategy, like dollar-cost averaging, and you should never risk funds that you need for your essential living expenses. We track the macro trends and the code so you stay ahead. Subscribe for more in-depth analysis, and let me know in the comments, which of these 3 networks do you see as the most vital for the future of finance?